So I think the latest iteration, the 2022 model of Yamaha's WR250F, is a really interesting bike, and particularly interesting in Australia. So, and the reason I say that, launched in 2001, had some Aussies involved, Jeff Ballard, I think, Glenn Carney, Stewie Morgan, maybe Benny Grabban back in the day. Were key in developing this bike to suit Australian conditions and fuels and terrain and Aussie riders' needs and wants. And as a result of that, the thing's gone on to become the biggest seller and the biggest success story for Yamaha in Australia, and I think the biggest market, 250 and 450, around the world. So that Aussie involvement in the development process has been something that has been ongoing, I guess in fits and starts. The reason I'm sitting here with Shop Yamaha racer Josh Green is because he's got involved in the last couple of years, and if Greenie shows me the hand here, just understand that he's signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement on this. So, there's only certain stuff you can say, and we totally understand that. But, with the help of Peter Payne, who's been, now the Special Projects Manager for Yamaha, he's worked with Josh Coppins, who came on board 15-16 for that 450. Tell us, Greenie, a little bit about your involvement over the last couple of years.
So I've started being involved with a bit of development stuff. I guess it comes around the whole COVID thing. People couldn't get to Japan and back and forth and stuff. So it was easy to do the testing and development here, which has been a pretty big experience, like learning for me. It's just been involved. We're here. We've been doing virtual stuff back and forth to Japan. They send the bikes over and they send different setups and different things to try, and we give feedback and basically trial and error and go, yep, this works, yep, this doesn't work, and then they go back and do their thing, and then we end up with a finished product.
And tell us a bit about the process. Is there a master plan? You've got a list of stuff you're getting over the next 6 months, or they're like, okay, we're working on chassis compliance now, working on engine, like throttle response or something like that?
Yeah, we don't really get told too much. We just get given certain parts and certain, say we get 3 sets of suspension, and we've just got to try those 3 sets of suspension and go, yep, suspension setup 1 was better here, and suspension setup 2 and 3 were better here and here.
Yeah.
We don't really go into it any more than that. That's it, yes, no.
I saw you doing these ones the other night. We were talking about whether they took your advice on board or not, so I'm guessing that they did, and it's translated into a pretty damn interesting bike. The one kind of thing, you're telling a funny story. I think you said you had the Japanese engineers on a little on a monitor on the wall, and when you had a choice of 10 maps, and that was like a blank ballot. They didn't have a name or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you took a little number 1 trophy and put it next to that map and showed the guys this is the guy.
This is the win. Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't realise is, in America, the mapping they get is a really dumbed down, sort of like mellow, super restricted thing. Yeah. So that's probably one of the big things about the bike setup here is it comes with mapping. And this time I understand more so than ever before, it's the identical mapping that you guys developed and said, they're the map. So basically, and the cool thing about this, you got your standard map and then your blue button traction map as well.
Yeah. So we got to test quite a few different ECU setups, and this one just worked. This was just, bike started easy, it ran easy, the power everything was nice. So we were just like, hands down, this is it. We don't want anything else, don't change it. So it was really cool that that's what they've done. So it's pretty.
And you're now team boss, AJ Roberts, or more of a mate, or father figure, I should say, who you've been with, I think, 12 years for the Shop Yamaha team. A 3-time AIC winner himself. He's been involved a little bit as well, and it was interesting you're saying, even though he's a different sort of riding style, height, weight, etc., that you guys actually kind of fell into line in terms of what,
Yeah, for sure. We've always been similar. Like, he can set up my race bike and I can pretty much fly into his place and jump on it and go, yeah, that's better or worse. He knows what I like, and even though he is, sometimes he's lighter, sometimes he's heavier, depending on what part of the season it is for either of us. But we're very different, but pretty similar in that sense. So it was good to have him involved as well. His input's huge. He's technically amazing at suspension and engines and everything. So his feedback's really cool. So I always learn off him as well. So
this 2022 model, we've spent a couple of days here mucking around with the thing and all sorts of different terrain, and it's, even though on paper it seems like a whole lot of little fine tuning bits and pieces combined, it actually makes quite a difference. What for you is the 2020 was obviously a big jump from the 19.
Yeah.
What for you is the most significant improvement this thing makes on its predecessor?
Mainly the balance of the thing. It just does everything easy. the balance of suspension package, the grip levels front to rear, the power delivery, you know, everything's just an improvement. The whole bike's just an easier bike to ride, and then you can ride it faster then because it is easier to ride. So to me, it's just another step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so let's hit him up with the questions he's not going to answer, or not going to want to answer. The new Dunlops on the thing, mate. Now, okay, sponsored by Michelin, I get it, but we're not comparing them to Michelin. They came with Metzeler's before. But you were pretty confident that these things, compared to the Metzeler...
yeah, they're definitely an improvement from the Metzeler,
Yeah.
for sure. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. They're FIM tyres, which we don't usually need here anyway, so most people pull them off.
But pretty damn good for an FIM tyre.
For an FIM tyre, they're a pretty good tyre choice, so yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's some touchy ground. Hydraulic clutch. Everyone like acknowledges how far this bike's come, but then they're like, okay, where's it going to put the hydraulic clutch on it? I heard some little rumblings within Yamaha HQ that might be in the wings.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
To me, I'm a cable clutch.
That's where it finishes right there.
I'm a cable clutch guy. I like a cable clutch, so there's no encouragement for me to change. The cable works.
You're adding a little bit of weight, I think. And
yeah, to me, if you've got the perch set up on the bar, which is a huge thing, I think a lot of people miss that, is if you've got that perch set up across on the bar, so it is using all the lever and the leverage, it's lighter than a hydraulic clutch. And to me, I have more feel with the cable. So that's not that I dislike hydraulic clutches, but I prefer a cable clutch. So,
and going through this development process, does that help your own racing? Like, I know that AJ is a full nut when it comes to bike setup. He's feverish about it, trying different stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to like back in your box, bro. I want to set up and ride what I know.
Yeah.
But has it helped you kind of, in your development process with your own race bikes?
I mean, not really. They're two different kettles of fish. So, like, one we're just trying to win on. So it doesn't matter if it beats me up a little or it's a bit rough and a bit harsh. I've just got to deal with that. If that's what the fastest option is, that's what we're running. So, whereas you got to sort of take that brain out, that mindset out, and put this brain on and
pretend you're talking to a trail enduro. An average.
You just got to make it the best for everyone. You're not developing a bike for me or you or this guy or that guy. It's for a mixed bag of everyone. So you just got to come up with the most comfortable, best solution to everything. And
that was one big thing, I think, coming into this thing. There's so much noise about it being based off of the motocross bike.
Yeah.
My concern was like, oh shit, I wonder if that's gonna come at the cost of feeling good for an average trail rider. What's your take on that? No, for sure, and I mean that's obviously a big worry because a lot of the market is trail riders. But everything we try to do is, like I said, based around everyone. So. We just wanted the best overall package, and I feel like it's easier, it feels lighter, it's more balanced, it brakes better, the power's better, it gets you out of trouble easier. It's quite easy to steer under power, things like that. So for all level riders, it's going to be a better bike, an easier bike to ride. And am I right in saying a lot of people who are on bigger capacity bikes would do themselves a favour by trying a 250? 100%. I get it all the time in my riding schools. I get a lot of guys coming. It's the Australian way. You got to have a V8. You got to have the biggest truck. You got to have the 500 or the 450. You've got to have the biggest of everything. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, most people would benefit from going to a smaller bike. It's something they can actually ride and have more fun while they're have more fun. Like if I go for a trail ride during the week, I've got a 450 and a 250 sitting here. I can guarantee you I'll take the 250 out every time I go trail riding because it's just a ball. I have so much fun riding. I can put it where I want it. I can do what I, really have just fun on it. Whereas a 450 is a handful, in most places. It's still a really good bike, but getting into some technical, slimy stuff and 250 is unreal. It's just fun to ride. So, well, thanks for giving us an insight into it. It's fascinating. I know that it's sort of like it's you've got to be tentative in terms of what you can give up. And thanks also to Peter Payne from Yamaha, who I know you spoke to him in the lead up to this test, who sort of said, by all means, share with the guys up to a certain point. What can I say and what can't I say? Yeah. So, that's right, mate. If only you drank piss, we could get you sharing all sorts of shit. No, I'm pretty good at keeping secrets.